Recent events have left merchants scared, and now EV owners are getting worried too. What's happening, and why are people suddenly questioning the safety of these cars? You won't believe it. From unexpected fires to problems at charging stations, the EV world is facing a crisis that could change everything. Are electric vehicles still the future, or have we missed some big risks? Scott Coons, the Chief Operating Officer of Coons Auto and RV Group, which sells major brands like Detroit, Nissan, and Mitsubishi in the Midwest, shared his perspective on the issue. "We've actually turned away EV inventory," Coons said. "We need to make sure we're able to sell what we already have before taking on more." Coons explained that automakers are pushing dealers to make significant investments in EVs, but dealers like him are cautious. They want to see a return on those investments before committing to even more inventory. Essentially, it's a case of show me the money before diving in deeper. This situation highlights a broader issue. While the availability of plug-in vehicles is skyrocketing, the expected surge in EV adoption might be hitting a significant roadblock. The early wave of EV buyers, who are often enthusiastic and financially well off, is giving way to a new group of potential customers who are more hesitant and budget conscious. The shift is causing car companies to rethink their strategies and even scale back their ambitious EV production plans. Sam Fioriani, the Vice President of Global Vehicle Forecasting at Auto Forecast Solutions, explains the problem isn't just about the high price tags of EVs, though that's definitely part of it. "We're talking about a much more complex lifestyle change," Fioriani noted. He pointed out that the EV experience is different from traditional car ownership in several ways, including the challenges of charging and concerns about range. These factors are making many potential buyers think twice before making the switch to electric. So, what's happening here? Essentially, the EV market is at a crossroads. On one hand, automakers are ramping up production to meet what they expected to be a growing demand. On the other hand, dealers are seeing these vehicles sit unsold on their lots, leading them to hesitate before accepting more inventory. The disconnect between production and sales is a sign that the EV adoption curve might be flattening out, at least for now. For many dealers, the challenge is figuring out how to sell EVs to a broader audience that isn't as naturally inclined to make the switch. While early adopters were excited about the environmental benefits in the latest technology, the next wave of buyers is more cautious. They're worried about things like how far they can drive on a single charge and whether there will be enough charging stations available. They're also concerned about the cost, not just of the vehicles themselves, but also of the potential lifestyle changes that come with owning an EV. These concerns are real, and they're forcing automakers to reconsider their approach. Instead of pushing out as many EVs as possible, they might need to slow down and focus on addressing the concerns of these more apprehensive buyers. That could mean offering more affordable models, improving charging infrastructure, and providing better education about what it's like to own an EV. In the meantime, dealers like Coons are taking a cautious approach. They want to make sure they're not left holding the bag with too much unsold inventory. It's a delicate balancing act between meeting the expectations of automakers and managing their own business risks. The bottom line is that the EV revolution is still underway, and it's encountering some bumps in the road. The initial excitement and rapid growth are giving way to a more challenging phase where automakers, dealers, and customers all need to adjust their expectations. It's not just about producing more EVs, it's about making sure that they meet the needs and concerns of a wider range of buyers. As the market evolves, we're likely to see changes in how EVs are marketed and sold. Will automakers start focusing more on addressing the practical concerns of everyday drivers rather than just pushing the latest technology? Dealers will need to find new ways to connect with customers who are on the fence about making the switch to electric. And customers themselves will need to weigh the pros and cons of EV ownership more carefully. The success of the EV market will depend on how well all these players can navigate this transition. It's clear that we're still in the early stages of this shift, and there's still a lot of work to be done to ensure that the momentum continues. But with the right strategies in place, the EV market can overcome these challenges and continue to grow. It's tough for the average customer to justify spending an extra $10,000, said Sam Fioriani, reflecting a common concern among car buyers today. While EVs have become more accessible than ever, the higher upfront cost is a significant barrier for many potential buyers. Just a few years ago, finding an EV at a dealership was like finding a needle in a haystack. If you wanted to test drive or buy one, you often had to join a long waiting list, and even then, the chances of getting your hands on one were slim. Automakers weren't producing EVs at scale, so supply was extremely limited. This scarcity, combined with growing excitement about electric cars, created a sense of urgency and demand that far outpaced supply. Fast forward to today, and the situation has changed dramatically. EVs are no longer rare finds at dealerships. In fact, there's an abundance of them. While the average dealership had about 54 days worth of vehicle inventory earlier this summer, EV inventory was nearly double that, meaning that there are plenty of electric options available for buyers. But here's the twist. Despite this increased availability, demand for EVs hasn't kept up with the pace of production. This is a stark contrast to the past few years when EVs were flying off the shelves as soon as they arrived. Now, even with record sales being reported month after month, the excitement is starting to plateau. Automakers are working hard to expand their EV production, but they're finding it increasingly difficult to attract buyers beyond the initial wave of early adopters. The EV market is facing a new challenge: how to appeal to the mainstream buyer. While brands like Tesla have succeeded in making electric cars as a status symbol, the overall share of EVs in the U.S. market remains low, hovering around 6%. This number has grown rapidly over the past few years, but the growth is starting to slow down as automakers try to reach a broader audience. For many buyers, the decision to go electric isn't just about being environmentally conscious or owning the latest technology. It's also about practicality and affordability. The higher upfront cost of an EV, even with the potential savings on fuel and maintenance, can be a significant deterrent. Many customers are still hesitant to make the switch, especially when traditional gasoline-powered vehicles are often cheaper to buy up front. Another factor contributing to the slowing demand is the unique challenges that come with owning an EV. Charging infrastructure is still developing, and while it's improving, many potential buyers worry about range anxiety, the fear of running out of power before reaching a charging station. These concerns can be particularly daunting for those who are used to the convenience of filling up at a gas station in just a few minutes. Moreover, transitioning to an EV represents a lifestyle change that not everyone is ready to embrace. So, where does this leave the EV market? Automakers are now faced with a challenge of convincing the average consumer that an EV is not only a viable option, but also a preferable one. What are your views on this subject?